Good morning, everyone. It's the Public Affairs Show of your favorite iHeart radio station. I'm Lee Callahan, and today we have on the show the President and CEO of Bloodworks Northwest, Curt Bailey, and we're going to talk about people's hesitation, maybe, over donating their blood. Good morning, Curt. How's it going?
Good morning, Lee. It's going just fine. Thanks for having me on today.
Absolutely. Now, are people wondering during this emergency time of really needing blood if they should cancel or reschedule with the timing of their COVID vaccinations?
Well, it seems like they might be, Lee.
Okay.
It's a little bit hard for us to know exactly how broad that belief is, but we definitely hear from the public that there's a misperception that after you receive your vaccination, you can't donate blood. And that's just not true.
Okay.
There is no delay. There is no delay whatsoever in your ability to donate blood after receiving the vaccine. And in fact, we need blood today more than ever because our community is using about 10% more blood every single day than they have historically to care for patients up and down the Pacific Northwest.
Wow. Now, I know that donations have been way down because of COVID. Obviously, there's not as many blood mobiles running around and doing as much as we can because of COVID. But why is use up? Is it for COVID patients?
Yeah, use is up across the board. The hospitals in the Pacific Northwest are full, and they're not full of COVID patients, at least not right now. It's patients who are receiving treatment for cancer, who are receiving a life-saving organ transplant, who may have suffered a trauma, like a car accident or a fall, or maybe they're a mom delivering a child and bleeding at childbirth. And all of these patients require blood transfusions. And in fact, 1 in 6 Americans will receive a blood transfusion at some point in their life.
Wow, that is high. Need is way up by 10%. That's a lot. But donations are down. And how low are you? What is that terrible number, how low you are at your levels right now, your emergency levels?
We are now at emergency levels for virtually all blood types. And it might surprise you, Lee, to know that our blood stocks in the Pacific Northwest are at the lowest they have been since before the pandemic. And that's worth a little explaining.
Okay.
During the pandemic, the community really rallied to donate blood. And they came into our donor centers. They came into Bloodworks pop-up donor centers at places like T-Mobile Park. And they ensured that we had very strong inventory levels throughout the pandemic. But something's happened in the last few weeks, and there's been fewer donations. And at the same time, there's been much higher use of blood in the community than normal. And that's why we're at this difficult moment where we once again need the public to turn out and ensure we've got blood for all the people who need it.
The president of Bloodworks Northwest, Curt Bailey's on the phone with me. And you've got a lot of partners that are helping you set up pop-up locations for blood donation, right?
We sure do. We've had pop-ups at the Seattle Aquarium. We've had pop-ups at Providence Park down in Portland, at the Boeing Museum of Flight, as you mentioned, T-Mobile Park, at Lumen Field, where the Seahawks and the Sounders play, at the Portland Art Museum, the Ballard Art Museum. I could go on. And it's really extraordinary to be able to donate, looking up, for example, at that great vaulted mosaic ceiling of the Paramount Theater.
Oh, man.
So it's not only doing kindness, doing a life-saving act for your friends and your neighbors and your coworkers who might need that blood, but it's also really a heck of an experience when you donate at a site like that.
Yeah. You've got the Federal Way Center, you've got the Kent Station, just places all over the greater Puget Sound area, and there are a lot of appointments available and not so very far off into the future, but do schedule like Curt says. Curt, thank you for all this great and vital information. We'll all do what we can, okay? We'll all make our appointments. Bloodworksnw.org.
Thank you, Lee. It's a pleasure.